Hi everyone, welcome back to the next video. First of all, apologies for the delay in getting this one out. The map update came out the same day I had to go back to work, so a bit of a delay getting everything ready to go. But again, big thank you to any new subscribers, welcome to the channel and enjoy the video. So we're in this truck because we've just been down to the animal dealer. This is our fourth trip now I believe from the collection area, and we've got some oats and a couple more horses. We're going to add some more to the pasture, which you'll see shortly. So we'll head back down to the ranch now and we'll catch up on what's changed and what's not changed. Okay, here we are just outside the ranch now. So first big change is we've swapped the fields around. So initially we was going to plough this one up later down the line, but we've basically taken the field we did initially with the small little plough with the Porsche, and we've got rid of that field now as a mowable field, and that's just now a pasture, which you'll see shortly. So we've got the alfalfa field here. So the reason being is because animals only accept the alfalfa hay on this map update. So we have to use this instead of ordinary grass, which isn't a bad thing. It's got a nice texture to it, and we can plant it in quite quickly, and it grows quite quickly as well. Didn't do any fertilizing on this time. I just literally got it planted in the ground just to speed things up. I don't think precision farming works on this field, but hopefully in the future we can find ways to get more yield out of it, because as you'll see when we come to cut it and stuff, we don't actually get much off this with the baler. But we'll move on now. We'll head inside and we'll see changes we made inside the ranch. So here we are inside the ranch. So I didn't make any changes to the buildings. I got rid of a bit of the clutter on the back of this barn here on the left, the combine, all the clutter we got. Added in a few little dirt tracks heading down to the main sort of horse area, so just make it look a bit nicer on the ground. And building wise, there's no changes. What you can see as we approach now is we've got this pasture put in, and we put a fence in around the field we've got. So you'll see now very quickly on the map, initially the field we had was field 1, but obviously when you look at the blue, you actually only get half the field, whereas you see the outline of the blue, that's on the course plate old field I ploughed in, so you can actually see you only actually own half the field, whereas number 1 there highlighted now is the field we don't own. Before we did. I've decided just to basically not buy that field, and we just cut off on the line basically where the field ends and our land ends. So that's Bill's land. If you saw Bill in the last episode, he owns that land there, where we've asked him to get the oats sown in. See, as you can see, we lost a bit of land and a bit of the grass, but I think actually in the long run it's a bit better because we have got the field outside as well. So as you can see, we've got this new pasture, we've got the fence around it. I'll give you a tour of the perimeter quite shortly. So we'll get the horses unloaded, and then last episode as well we had an issue with this truck wouldn't unload the stones. Luckily they've updated the mod, it was a known issue, so you can now unload items. Would have been quite useful in the last one to get the stones out, to not go drive across the map. But here we are, it does work now, so we can keep hold of this truck because it is a nice little mod we've got here. So we'll unload the oats, and then we'll crack on with a tour of just a couple extra additions I put into the map. Again, I didn't do too much, I didn't want to go crazy and just change the whole thing entirely. I'm trying to continue this series sort of as close as we can to where we left off. So I've put in this little water well here. It just sort of hides the base one, just looks a bit nicer I think. Little wheelbarrow just for decoration. And then around the back I've got a little manure storage area. From what I checked though, horses don't produce manure, but I'm currently looking into a video I've seen about editing the XML files to actually allow horses to produce manure, which would obviously be quite useful because they are going to produce a lot of manure. And we can use it to fertilise the land. Vehicle wise, still got the same kit, all the same changes. I think I got rid of the planter, and I've picked up the windrower and the tedder to use later on from the Porsche pack. But apart from that, we've got no additions and no new tractors or anything. We haven't changed things entirely. Still got the little storage area, the little grain mill, whatever you want to call it. And then moving over here, we've been busy over the winter. We've got the wood splitter still in place, and we cleared quite back a few number of trees, so put a few trees back and got a few piled up as well, which we're going to just throughout the year when we get time just split those into firewood, and eventually we'll keep the stumps in the ground so we can see where we've cut down, and I'll replant the trees at some point so we get the woodland back. So quite large trees, I think they're 6 meters or so, and again our pile of firewood drying out over the year. Again, we do need to get some sort of storage area in this section to keep the wood dry throughout the year, so we can actually sell it as seasoned firewood later down the line. But that's the only change really to the area. Again, basically just some trees missing and a bit more firewood to the pile. So no major changes there at the moment anyway. And then we'll head back now, park up the truck, and we'll carry on the tour. So just jump on a horse here so I can show the perimeter fence of this pasture. So I'm quite busy getting this fence put in over the winter and early spring months. So it's still quite a large area. I haven't actually ploughed the grass in this time, I've just left as it is. Just cleared away some of the mud, added in a bit of plants and stuff just to make it look a bit less plain. It took most of the bushes out because I don't really like the bushes in this game. We're going to go for a little jump over the fence here, and I'll show you sort of the line where you can see that the actual land ends. So just coming up shortly, so we'll jump here, and then you can pretty much see a prominent line there. So where I've added in the meadow texture, and that bit there just off to the left of this is basically with the borderline of our land, and then anything past here is Bill's land. So previously with the field went all the way down this way, but again it's a mixture of the two. For some reason the field and the grass is one field when you purchase it, which is a bit frustrating, but never mind. I think most people will use it as a field when they use this area to start the game. And you can see Bill's field has just been ploughed up as well, so we're still going to try and convince him to put some oats in for us, but again he's still sort of observing the ranch to see if it's worth investing the oats into our business or not. So what's coming up now is you're going to see a combination of all the grass cutting, the tedding, the windrowing and the baling. Okay, so it took quite a while to get to this point with the small machinery we've got. So it was March 1 and 2 in season game. So enjoy this part of the video and I'll see you back shortly. Okay, welcome back. So we're about halfway through this field now doing the hay baling. So we're going to take a short break and we're going to let the family take over the tractor here. I've got an appointment with a guy in town about buying a truck off him. So I'm going to get the local bus in because we've sold the Tesla. Didn't mention it earlier. Yeah, we got rid of the Tesla and we need something a bit more sturdy, especially with the Wyoming winter we just had. The Tesla electric didn't really do too well. So I'll finish up here, hand the keys over, and I'll see you in town at the truck. So here we are at the guy's house. So mod wise, you've got the Ford, which is a modded one from a Facebook page, and you've also got the Lizard. And the reason I've gone for the actual Mod Hub Lizard one over the Facebook one, even though it's better details and more texture, I believe, the Lizard one's got actually customized options for the back end, so you can add on a baling module, I think, and also an animal cattle sort of addition on the back. So for us it's going to be a lot more useful down the line, so we can adjust the hood on the back a bit easier. So we spoke to the guy inside, gave him payment for the cash, but we're just going to very quickly pop the hood and just give it a quick more once over before we head off back to the ranch. And it's going to be used straight away. We're going to straight into the ranch, pick up the small trailer we've obtained, and start getting the bales off the ground as fast as we can, because there is rain forecast for the afternoon. So we need to work quite quickly here. We need to get all the bales off the field and into storage before that rain comes in later in the afternoon. Okay, back at the ranch now. We'll grab this trailer, head straight out to the fields and start getting these bales loaded up as fast as we can. Obviously it's going to take quite a while with this method at the moment because we haven't got any machinery, but we'll do the best we can, sort of get them on one by one. They are the 120 centimetre bales, the square ones, so they are quite small and lightweight. We can just load them in to the back of the truck quite quickly. So we'll jump into a bit of a time lapse because it took quite a while to get to the point we're at now. So yeah, enjoy the next few moments. So here's our first load going in. We're not going to store these ones, we're going to go straight out to the pasture and just get them straight into the horses feed pen here. We've got the oats in there, but also we need to get the hay topped up as well. Okay, back out in the fields. It was this point in time where I realised that perhaps manually loading these one by one isn't the best choice to go for, and also I need to learn my controls, because you'll see why I made a mistake here. So I went to secure the ones in the back of the hood, and I pushed the wrong button. I was on the trailer module, and about 10 minutes of stacking these bales I lost straight away. So after a bit of thought, I've got this bit of kit, popped into town and leased it temporarily. So it's a bit of a stacker, so it stacks the bales automatically for you. You just got to basically follow along. To speed up time, I set up a small little course play and auto drive route here. So as you can see, course play is enabled, and I've set up a entry point. So you've got the field enter. As soon as it hits this point here, it will then go hunt for the bales one by one. Once it's full, it will bring it back to the bale unload point. Anything it doesn't do, it doesn't unload them automatically. So once it has the unload point, I've got to jump in manually, unload it, and then it will shoot off again by itself and go hunt for bales. So it's just simulating obviously a family member doing the work, because it will just take far too long to get these off one by one with just a truck. So this is the solution I came up with, and it works quite well. So obviously coming back now, I go to the barn and unload the first lot into the barn and start stacking them up. Yes, they weigh quite a bit, but I back up here into the barn, and in reality I would just get on the back of the trailer and I'd just push them off and then push them along the ground. So I did have the super strength mod on, but as you can see I did try and sort of replicate as much as I can real life, pushing it off and then sliding it along the ground. And I'd probably have some help as well in real life to push these into the right area. So we've done this for the first lot. We did move these around later on because they didn't really fit well at the back of the barn. But yeah, that's how we've basically got the system going. So the autoloader and the course plate goes around, picks them up, and then I'll take them one by one, or stacks of 3 or 4, and put them into the barn. And it works pretty well, sped things up quite a lot and quite quickly. I mean, it still took quite a while, a couple of hours in getting, wheel time, but we got there in the end. And I also got the little bale module here for the Porsche. I mean, it's okay, but it doesn't lift up very high, so I couldn't use it to actually load the stacks onto the trailer. It's just far too low, unlike a front loader would. But we tried it out anyway, and we took it down to the outdoor pasture here, the smaller one, and just unloaded this small bale into this small pasture here. But yeah, this bale fork doesn't really work too well for stacking. It's ideal for just transporting small bales around the farm. So I can use this to transport them down the line, just out to the pasture from the barn storage area. So the rain finally came in, bit of a bad storm as well. So final part of the day, just where I dropped the stack earlier, just got manual control now, and I'm just going to jump out and just push them in one by one manually. So rather than drive around the field, it was a lot faster just to push them in, as you see now. Just get them in, let the machine take over, and then get them down to the trailer. Coming up to 5 PM now, so it's been a long day out in the fields. Quite a lot crammed into this episode, a lot of grass work over 2 days, but we got there in the end, managed to get the grass and the hay off the ground before most of the storm took over. And again, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.